Hey there. We'll get to this Love in Lebanon episode shortly, but wanted to pass along two quick pieces of information. First, after taking some time off for the summer, we're releasing weekly podcast episodes every Tuesday morning. Second, if you listen to the Love in Lebanon pod on Stitcher, you'll need to find another platform because Stitcher is going away for good at the end of August. That's it. That's the information. Now on to the episode. The Love in Lebanon podcast is back with episode 127, highlighting the Waters of Lebanon Skilled Nursing Center. Eric, Emerson and Tracy Autrey join us to chat about the comprehensive care options that are offered at the facility, as well as fun activities for residents. Episode 127 of the Love in Lebanon podcast starts now.
Welcome to the Love in Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to loveinlebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Love in Lebanon podcast. I'm Joe LePage, the Community Development Director. We are talking about the Waters of Lebanon on this episode of the podcast. We have Eric Emerson. He is the administrator and the CEO of the Waters of Lebanon, and we have Activities Director Tracey Autrey here joining us. Guys, thank you so much for being here on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
There's been a recent community concert. How did that go? Can you give us a brief recap? Saw a lot of smiling pictures and faces on social media. It sounds like it was a great event.
Yeah, it was an excellent event. Lots of people from the community came out, lots of families, residents really enjoyed it. We had about 126 in attendance. That was our first concert that we've had for the community. Our goal was 100, so we actually exceeded our attendance that we were expecting.
And Eric, I'm guessing we'll talk about kind of what led you to the Waters of Lebanon, relatively new on the job. What was it like to be able to experience the community coming out, to be able to come out to Perryworth Road and be able to take in an event like that?
Oh, it's pretty impressive, actually. I'm thoroughly impressed with Tracy. She's by far, I've been in the industry now for quite a while. She's by far the best activities director I've ever worked with. The
Don't blush,
concert
you're
was
right there.
just,
We could see you blushing. It's okay.
the concert was phenomenal. It really was. It was a great outing for the community and residents. And like you said, we saw a lot of smiling faces, and that's what it's all about.
And everybody, as you're listening, you may be thinking, Waters of Lebanon, where exactly is that at? Where can I get more info? That's out on Perryworth Road, 1585 Perryworth Road. And you can just hit up the old Google machine and go to watersoflebanon.com. You can go to Facebook as well. Great job, social media and online, being able to share info with the public. And before we started hitting record, Eric, you talked about just the versatility of the Waters of Lebanon, just the complexity of care. Mm-hmm. And it's something that you've been in this field for a while, and it's something that you haven't seen in the past stops that you've been.
Yeah, that's correct, Joe. So I've been an administrator now for about 7 years. I've worked in a few different facilities. This facility is by far more clinically complex than any facility I've been in. We can handle pretty much we're truly the facility that accepts residents that no one else can care for. We can handle trachs, major wounds, things like that. So yes, as far as clinical complexity, we're able to pretty much manage just about everything.
But it's so great how you guys are able to juggle that also, because you can provide all that care, but at the same time, there's kind of if you go out to Perryworth Road, and I highly recommend it, everybody, it's kind of a college campus feel to it. You have the concerts, you have the family events where it's just kind of it's just a real friendly feel. It's not you want to, I'm making air quotes, everybody, nursing home type feel where that your loved one is just kind of left to their own devices, enjoy the sunset years of your life. But it has kind of a college campus feel. Did you guys kind of toe that line of offering all the care, but making it a friendly, fun environment? I'm guessing that's by design.
That's pretty much the idea. In my opinion, as far as like our staff are concerned, I like the facility to be a very family environment. I like staff to enjoy coming to work. I believe that equates to better quality of care. But yes, the residents are happy. They enjoy it. We have different activities going on all the time. Tracy also just had a dog show recently, and that was phenomenal. So yeah, we try to do a lot to, like you said, in your loved ones' later years to make them special. We try to do as much as we possibly can to make sure that people are happy with us.
And the dog show, you got to go into more detail there.
Well, we have one of my assistants, actually, his mother is a trainer and a judge of Aussie Shelties. So we had some of our Aussie Shelties in, and they did the agility courses and also spent time in rooms with residents that didn't come outside. It was a great time because State Board of Health was there that day, so they actually even took time out to watch the Aussies perform, and it was just a wonderful event for those folks.
And how much goes into it, Tracy, as an activities director, to kind of talk about, like Eric was talking about, having that complexity of care, but also at the same time, you're looking for different ways to make those sunset years ones that are enjoyable, and being able to have fun for the family and of course the folks that live there as well.
What's really neat about the Waters is we have a resident council. And the resident council is very active, and we meet once a month. They know that they can meet with me anytime. We have a secretary, treasurer, vice president, and president, and they make up a lot of the events, or they give me a lot of suggestions. One thing that I like about them is they want to stay connected to the community. That is so important. They don't want to stay in their rooms. They don't want to not have visitors. They want to keep giving back to the community and being a part of this community. And that's been going very well there.
That's got to be amazing and empowering to them to be able to, have some direction in what takes place there and how their lives are lived. I'm guessing you've seen some positive reaction there.
Right. And as a result, we've made a lot of community friends. I mean, community is important. My folks, they want to give back to the community like the community gives to them. They've made friends with the sheriff's department, the police department, the mayor. They want to stay connected to their community. Their vote counts just like anybody else's vote. We've had great community sponsorship of our events. We are a small nursing home with a very limited activities budget. And, when I have an event, people from the community has come out and donated sponsorship for my events. So it's been wonderful.
Everybody, we're talking with Eric Emerson and Tracy Autrey there with the Waters of Lebanon. You can get more information by going to watersoflebanon.com. Also, you can just find their information there. Give them a call. Check them out on Facebook as well. And hearing the passion that both of you have for the elderly and the care of the elderly, would love to know where that began and how you are both uniquely wired to be able to do this on a daily basis, where you really pour yourselves into the more than a job, but just the way that the people are cared for in this stage of life. How did this first start? Eric, you've been talking about how almost a decade in this type of field. What is it about the care of the elderly that really kind of resonates with you?
Well, initially I started in this field. So I went to college, obviously, for health services administration, and I wasn't quite sure the direction I wanted to go. At the time, I've got tons of family in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I went to a facility that my grandfather was in, and I saw the lack of care. And that really bothered me. So that kind of pushed me in this direction. I don't have a pretty story like, some administrators where I took care of, a loved one for many years and just decided to go this route. Again, I honestly just kind of fell into it, but I love it. I recently lost Mom last Saturday, as a matter of fact. And I tell you, it's really given me a whole new perspective. We had her in a hospice center here local, and it really gave me a completely new perspective on what families are actually going through and the decision that has to be made to actually put a loved one in a nursing home. So I try to be compassionate to that, or I am compassionate to that. And, I want to do everything I can in my power to comfort the family, but also ensure that the residents' needs are met and they enjoy the rest of their lives.
And I appreciate you sharing about the personal account, and I'm guessing that is helping you, as you mentioned, be able to kind of see the perspective of
Absolutely
everyone involved.
Absolutely.
Tracy, a somewhat similar story for you, or one that's perhaps different?
A little different, but a little the same. So as you know, Joe, I've spent 30 years in the developmental disability field. Absolutely loved it. 25 years coaching Special Olympics and on their board. And after 30 years, I had a similar situation where just kind of had a little tragedy in my life, and I decided it was time to change directions, and lost my mom and dad. And the funny story about that is I told my mom and dad I didn't want them to get old because I kind of looked at them like my grandma and grandpa, like they were just, I don't know what you want to say. They're just tough people to deal with. And so anyway, I just decided to try it, took the state exam to be an activity director and passed it, and thought, well, we're just going to give this a shot. And, I think of my mom and dad every day when I do this because they're both gone. And I just treat my residents like I would expect my mom and dad to be treated in a facility. And, the number one thing that people sometimes forget about the elderly population is, they've done a lot more in life than I might ever do in life. And so I'm just there to ensure that their needs are being met and their wants are being met, on an activity side of things.
That was my next question for both of you. Do you see loved ones in or have some kind of semblance there with the people that are the residents of the Waters of Lebanon, where you kind of see your loved ones in them in similar fashion?
Absolutely, every day, yeah.
And I'm guessing that has helped not maybe motivate you, but kind of give some inspiration to be able to help their sunset years be as beneficial as possible.
Without a doubt. Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
Eric, have you seen, we talked about just a handful of months on the job and many more coming your way. Have you kind of seen that positivity, that positive reaction, not only having the events, but also just all the ways that the Waters is able to serve its residents? Have you kind of seen the positivity already on the job?
Yes, absolutely. Again, it's a very home-like environment. It truly is. We've got a lot of phenomenal residents there, and we've got a lot of very compassionate staff members. Again, Tracy, I've got to give kudos to her. She really does a phenomenal job. Again, it's a very home-like environment, and that's essentially what we want to do is create that because it is. I mean, it's a hard decision to bring a family member into a facility like this, but as long as they're comfortable, it helps ease the family a bit as well.
Is that what helped, just that kind of overall feel? Is that what helped and led both of you to want to be employed and join the family at the Waters of Lebanon? Was it that kind of feel, or was it something else that kind of led you to, this is where I need to be, that type of thing? We talked about, Eric, you've had several years on the job, and what was it about the Waters that maybe attracted you?
Well, I toured the facility, obviously, before I accepted the position and had the opportunity to meet with all the department heads and meet with some of the residents. And I just saw the interaction between the staff and residents, and it was just something I wanted to be part of.
Very similar, Tracy?
Well,
not so
I came
much?
from an assisted living in the very beginning and loved my assisted living facility. It was on 82nd and Shadeland. I have a 4-year-old son here in town, and I just needed to get back to Lebanon. That was just very important to me, starting pre-kindergarten here coming up. And I actually found that I feel like my talents are better locally. I'm giving them more, I think, because of the community connections that I've had through the years. Small town, graduated from here, and just having a lot of fun with it. And, seeing the residents just shine in the community is just, a really awesome feeling. Going to the Leprechaun basketball games and, the guys knowing our residents. I mean, that's just a really cool, cool thing. I collaborate some with Amy Bigler from Crown Point Senior Living, Assisted Living, and just collaborating with some community friends is just making it a lot easier on my job, but it's also making it more fun and fulfilling for the residents.
Yeah, and you if you can kind of talk about, you guys, not only the concert and different things where you open up and have dog shows and other events as well, but the community VIP luncheon as well. You're bringing in people from the community to interact with your residents who are taking an active role in their lifestyle and where they are in life.
Yeah, it's very important, the residents, to stay connected to the community. And, one of the first people we brought in was the mayor, And when I talked to Mayor Gentry, I've known him for a long time, the first thing I said to him was, we have a lot of registered voters here. and we have a Lebanon address. Yeah. And, I made sure that those registered voters sat with him during lunch, and they asked him some very awesome questions. And it made them feel
little
good.
bit too.
Huh?
They put him on the spot.
They put him on the spot. Talked to him a lot about Eli Lilly. Talked about the golf course and houses coming out. They're already talking about purchasing a golf cart. So Eric, we're going to purchase a golf cart. So I mean, they just want desperately to stay connected to the community. Shout out I want to give Danielle from that sports bar a shout out. I mean, she has donated a lot of sponsorship money to us for various events. And what's really cool is we were passing out flyers for the concert, and I had a gentleman with me from the Waters, and we went into that sports bar and we ate lunch. He's 94 years old, and he's going to that sports bar to eat lunch. And we went back and he was telling everybody about it. I mean, it's a simple event, very easy to do. lasted a half hour, and it made this guy's day.
Yeah.
So that's what's really cool about my job.
And folks, we are talking with Eric and Tracy from the Waters of Lebanon. Get more information on their website, watersoflebanon.com. One of the things that I saw in looking, kind of stalking the online presence that you guys have, is the ability to take a tour. And Eric, you talked about just kind of the challenges that come with a loved one and the potential of putting into a facility of some way, shape, or fashion. But how much do you recommend the tour, and what can people can expect when they take that tour?
I would most certainly recommend that. And that's a fairly simple process. Just give us a call and we can get that set up. But yeah, come in and see the facility and see, meet the team and meet the caregivers, and give yourself some reassurance that they're actually going to the right place and they're going to be properly cared for.
And pretty flexible on being able to schedule those times and
Absolutely.
dates. And
Absolutely. We also have 24-hour visitation as well. So yeah, family members. I understand that some people, I've had police officers that, work and can't get in during normal business hours. We do have 24-hour visitation. So people are ready to, they're able to come in anytime they like.
That's got to be, as you mentioned, reassuring to know that, 8 p.m., well, that's, sorry,
Right.
can't come see your loved one. No, you can come and see him anytime you like.
Absolutely.
That's great. If people want to stay informed, Tracy, Eric, what's the best way to do that? Is it the Facebook page? Is it the website? A little bit of both? Would you recommend stalking the way that I kind of did in preparation for this episode?
So we try to put at least 2 to 3 posts on Facebook a week, just to show activities or what's going on with the community, upcoming activities. We load our Facebook pretty well, I think, and just show people. And when we give tours, I just wanted to add to what Eric said. We always provide an activity calendar so they can see what's coming up. Just to reassure the families that, hey, this person is not just going to sit in their room and watch TV. They're going to get out and be active if they choose to be.
Can you let us know what's next on that event calendar?
Yeah, we got
So
a really
the
cool one
concert-
coming up.
Okay.
We got a cool one coming up. I'm not going to ask for your help this time, Joe, or Mary
Although I'm happy
Gentry's,
to.
but we are going next week to the Colts camp. So we got a few of them going out to the Colts camp. Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Man.
So my hobby's collecting autographs, so that might be, it benefits me too as well. But yeah,
So they're
yeah,
little
we gotta
honesty
leave. We
there.
gotta leave.
There we
We
go.
gotta leave awful early in the morning to get there. So we're going Thursday, and we gotta leave at 7.
But to see the Colts and
Yep.
do quarterback and
Yep.
autographs.
Yep, that's-
Man, tough life,
That's our
Tracy.
upcoming big one.
Well, Eric, Tracy, thank you so much for being here on the
Thank you,
podcast.
Bill.
Really appreciate it. Everybody, if you need to find out more information, so many of the resources of the Waters of Lebanon can be found online via Facebook or via the website as well. Schedule a tour, check it out, ask a lot of questions. Thanks again, guys, for being here. Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having
Thanks
us,
so much, Joe.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for everything you do for our community.
Oh,
Absolutely.
my pleasure. Everybody, thank you for listening to this episode of the Love and Lebanon podcast. We've got more episodes coming your way soon. Take care.